One of my long-term ambitions for this Bexhill West project is to make as much of it as I possibly can myself. And that's involved me exploring all sorts of techniques that run familiar to me, one of which is working with etched brass. I've done bits and pieces of it in the past, but I need to sort of start making things on an industrial scale if I'm to build all of the rolling stock and what have you for the project. In fact, lots of the rolling stock that I require isn't available commercially, so there isn't a great deal of choice. Now, I'll be designing lots of pieces of rolling stock, wagons and carriages and what have you, and find that there's so many parts that for which etched brass is the suitable material and what I need to be using. If you saw my last video, you'll see that I've got the equipment about me now with which to make those things. However, a friend of mine suggested that I put one of these Colin Craig kits together. He said they're really well designed and you'd be amazed at just how fine you can get all the detail and what have you. So really that's the purpose of this video. Some of you watching it will have wondered why on earth I was spending time building a wagon that would never have run at Bexhill West. And so now you know, this really is a sort of learning opportunity for me. So you can see on screen now the two brass frets that make up the sort of the chassis or the body of this wagon. Now, I've been through the bogies in some detail, and I'm not going to go through the construction of the actual wagon too fully because this would be a very, very long video indeed. However, it's assembled using a slot and tab system. So what I will do for the remainder of the video is show you kind of how that works, the clean-up process afterwards, and hopefully that will give you an idea of some of the detail that can be achieved when working with etched brass. Now I'm using quite a basic toolkit here, so I'll show you the tools I'm using as well, and hopefully you find it interesting. So then, by now you've seen the slot and tab system that's used to put this kit together, and it's really quite an effective system. Holds everything nice and square, which on a long slender frame like this is liable to twist. Now here you can see me fitting one of the flanges to one of the longitudinal rails, and it's just a case of tweaking it down nice and tight, and the fit of these parts is really excellent. Now, a disadvantage with this slot and tab construction is you get the tabs and all the solder, and it takes quite a bit of cleanup. So what I've done here is I've used a pair of side cutters to nip away the tabs, and I'm using this rotary sort of sanding tool just to grind away the worst of the little pips that remain. This is quite a time-consuming task. The next stage being to use a variety of different emery boards just to clean that up further. Now at this stage it's still relatively fragile. You can see some of the bits moving. It's not fully soldered up on the other side of it as we're looking at it here, so it will be the top surface. So we'll get onto that, but you see the effect. You keep working at it, and eventually all of the tabs disappear, and it leaves really very little evidence of the solder that's been used to put it together. That's the thing really that I've particularly enjoyed about this kit. There's not a great deal of solder once it's all cleaned up. It helps keep the lines of everything nice and crisp. And you can see there, I mean, I've not finished working on this yet, but just on those surfaces I've done, they're already looking quite presentable. So there you go, there's a run through of some of the processes involved in putting this kit together. Now I've still got lots of work to do, and it's going to be a while before I could get this video finished. So what I'm going to do is sort of stop the video more or less here, and in a future video, probably next time, I'll show you sort of the finished thing. But for now, here is one of the sisters of the particular wagon you see me putting together. Now this one's nearly finished. There's still a bit of detailing work to do, but the basic framework is done and has had a preliminary clean-up, and hopefully you can see some of the wonderful detail that's, you know, sort of captured within this wonderful kit. Anyway, that's it for me for today. I shall be back in a week or so with another video. Thanks for watching. Cheerio.